Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is going to be my January reading wrap up, and I didn't meet my goal, but I did read some stuff, so I will share that with you. My goal was to get 4 points, and if you're unaware, the way that I earn points is I get 1 point for every book that I read off of my official monthly TBR, and I get half a point for any book that's not on it that I read in the month. So I did only get 2.5 points for January. However, I got a late start in January on my TBR. And then also we had a whole week of mayhem. So really I only had 2 reading weeks this month. Not even 2. Was it like, I mean, it's Wednesday, so a week and a half. Really only a week and a half of actual reading time. So I don't think that's too bad. I am still going to take the consequence for my February TBR, but it's fine. So I'm going to share what I read first, and then I will just quickly show you what's left on my TBR that I did not read. So, I'm going to start with the ones that were not technically on my TBR, actually. So the first, these are not in order of when I read them, but the first book I'm going to show you is Visions of Sugar Plums by Janet Evanovich. And I purchased this from a thrift store, I don't know, a couple years ago. And I bought it because I had read a Janet Evanovich book when I was in high school and I really enjoyed it. And this was like a holiday special and I thought that would be fun. Whew, this was not good. This was a 1 star. This book was a 1 star. And yes, it's very short, but like, I know some people don't like refuse to rate novellas or like really short books like this any higher than maybe like 3 stars just because they feel like there's not enough oomph in a shorter book or a novella to really give it more than that. I personally, I don't do that. It doesn't matter how short or long a book is. If it's a 5 star, it's a 5 star. This is a 1. This is a 1. This, and a 1 star for me, it basically is, if I read a book, I'm going to rate it. Like if I finish it, I'm going to rate it. A 1 star for me is, this author is damn lucky I finished the book. And that's how I feel about this. This was so bad. The writing, I mean, the writing was so juvenile, and this is a book about a woman in her, I'm pretty sure she's in her 30s or like late 20s. She's not like, she's not a teenager. She's not a, this is not like new adult. I'm pretty sure this is an adult book. She's a bounty hunter. The main character is a bounty hunter. I'm pretty sure she's in like her late 20s or early 30s. I don't know that it actually ever says. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure. And it's just bad. It's also very misogynistic, patriarchal. Like the main guy character starts off so creepy, like so creepy. Like absolutely sexual harassment. Very, very heavily. And then like later in the book, it's just like kind of joked about. He's like, oh, I never came on to you. He's like, oh, actually maybe I did like just a little bit. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore. This was bad. But this was not on my TBR, not on my official TBR, but I did say that if I finished this, I was going to give myself a full point just because it would be a miracle. It would be an accomplishment if I finish this. And I gotta say, I could have just DNF'd it. I did not need to finish that. Probably a waste of my time. The next one that was not on my official TBR that I read was A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Lang. If I gave books 6 stars, which I don't because I just feel like for me personally, it keeps things simpler just to stick to the 5-star structure. But if I gave 6-star reviews, this would be a 7. This would be a 7. The last like 4 to 3-ish chapters of this book, I was sobbing. I was ugly crying for the entire ending of this book. And I'm literally going to start crying right now thinking about it. This was so good. I would say in the first like chapter or two, the writing is a little, some of it can come off a little bit pretentious, like it's trying to be a little bit more sophisticated than it actually is coming across. However, I don't know if I feel like it does. It definitely improves after the first like chapter or two, and it's really not even that bad. It's just something that I kind of noticed in the beginning, but absolutely disappears very quickly. This was so good. This is a historical fiction romance with zero spice, and this book wrecked my soul. This book broke me. I literally, it was just so good. Okay, let me try and explain what this is about. The other book, you don't need to know. You don't need to know what that's about. Nope, don't touch it. Stay far away. This book, get it immediately. So it doesn't actually say where it takes place, but it feels pretty obvious to me that it's supposed to be taking place in like, I don't know, long ago China. So there's a girl from a very small village, and she is pretty much considered like the greatest beauty of all time. And one day the king's advisor comes to her village and approaches her and gives her an offer. He is looking for basically the most beautiful woman in the land to be given to the king of their rival kingdom as like a peace offering, but he does let her know that that is just a facade, and they're actually going to train her to be a spy and take down the rival kingdom from the inside. And they tell her that, you know, if you do this, it'll be very dangerous. However, your parents will be provided for the rest of their lives, and they will never want for anything. And also her village is like a very poor village. So, and there's lots of things like wrong with her house. So she eventually does agree to do this, to go on this mission. And she like gives the guy a whole list of things that she wants fixed and provided for her parents. And she agrees to do this because she has her own like vengeance that she's looking for, because this rival kingdom, the kingdoms have been at war for a really long time. And at one point in time, a group of soldiers from the other kingdom came in and attacked her village, and her little sister ended up being killed during that. So she hates the other kingdom, and she agrees so that she can get her revenge. They also need somebody to stand in as like a palace lady, basically an aide to her as a concubine to the other king. And they end up choosing her best friend. So they train together. They go to this other kingdom, and her job is to make the king fall so in love with him that he agrees to build a bridge to this one particular lake. And after the bridge exists, like the kingdom that she's from has access to the lake on the other side. So their plan is to invade over that bridge and take over the kingdom. So I feel like I don't know. Saying anything else would be giving it away. Although the aide, she does meet him like the day before he actually officially comes to her, but she doesn't know who he is, but he saves her life. And then, yeah, that's all I'll say. But this was really good. Really, 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 really good. You should read it. You should. Okay. The only book that I actually ended up reading off of my official TBR was The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller, and this is the sequel to the duology. The first one is The Shadows Between Us. I gave The Shadows Between Us 5 stars, and I was really hoping that with this second one that it would follow along some of the implied plot lines in the first book regarding the main character's sister, and they do. This book is from the perspective of the sister of the main character in the first book. So we actually get the sister's story in here, and we learn about why she acts the way she does in like the main character's like correspondence between her in the first book. I love this book. I actually thought this book was better than the first one. I gave this 5 stars as well. I don't know. I don't think I've ever given like 2 books in a series in a row 5 stars. I don't think I've ever done that. So I'm impressed. And I also have Daughter of the Pirate King by the same author. So I am excited to read that as well because I loved these 2 books so much. So the first book is about a girl who has decided that in order to take control of her life, she is going to seduce the king and then kill him and take his throne. And in the first book, her sister is kind of described as this like airhead kind of girl who the father like always loved her more, always doted on her. But she was just like really dumb, and the main character thought that her sister didn't like notice anything that she was doing because she was just like so up in the clouds all the time. And then in this book you get a different perspective. I feel like I can't say what this book is about without like spoiling part of the first book, but you do get the sister's like story in this one and her point of view, and this happens after the first book, so it's not like this isn't taking place at the same time, so you're not getting her story from like the same time period as the first book's happening, but this happens after. So I hope that makes sense. But this was really good. If you want to read a like not quite medieval, but like definitely in that older realm, like there's kingdoms, it's a fantasy. But if you want to read a fantasy with a lot of female rage in it, this one. The first book too, but this one more so. So that's everything that I finished in January. However, I have started reading Onyx Storm. I'm about halfway through that. I don't have the physical book. I have it on Kindle, but I probably would have finished like 1 or 2 more books if I hadn't started reading that. And really the only reason I've been prioritizing that since I got it is because my husband is also reading it. So it's just easier for me to like talk to him about what's going on if we're reading it at the same time. He's a little bit ahead of me, but because he started reading it before me, but yeah, if you've been here any amount of time, you may know my feelings on Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Yeah, I had those same feelings about Onyx Storm. I have other feelings about Onyx Storm too. So I haven't finished it. I've only read about half of it. I won't give any spoilers, but the first probably like 8 to 9 chapters of the book the writing is super clunky. I don't know how she took longer to write this book than she did, I think, the first two combined or something crazy like that. And somehow the writing is worse. I don't know how the writing is worse when she spent more time. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But the writing is worse for like the first like 8 to 9 chapters. After that, it goes back to the like same type of like writing as the first two books, which is not good, but it's a little bit more bearable. You really like in the first chunk of the book, that first 8 to 9 chapters, the writing is very clunky, and there's a lot of name dropping, just like constantly, like lists of names and just constantly name dropping. And a lot of times it's names of either characters that we've never been introduced to before, or characters that we were very briefly introduced to and then like just expected to remember their entire like backstory, everything that we've known about them. Like they're just mentioned, and then there's no like reminder of who they are, what their power is, where we met them, anything like that. And there's no time for that because she's just listing people's names. And it made it very obvious to me that she started writing this book. It's coming across as like a really poorly written screenplay that's being like trying to be written in the format of a book. It just was very clear that she's writing this because she's like listing people's names to let you know that they're in the scene, but then very often some of the names that she lists just like don't matter. You do not need to know that they're in that scene at all because they don't say anything, they don't do anything important, and it's just, it clunks up the writing, and it makes it pretty clear that she's writing it so that whenever they make like a screen version of this, a movie, show, whatever, that they know that these people were in the scene. And it's just not good writing. And I feel like that's a very common consensus that I've been seeing with people who have read this book. And so people who like loved the first two books, even that thought the first two books were written decently or even written well, are reading Onyx Flame and they're like, is this even the same author? Like, what the heck am I even reading? This is so bad. I have no idea what's even happening. And there are multiple parts in that first chunk of the book where it is not clear. It's not clear like what exactly is happening. It's just yeah, I feel like maybe that's enough on that. But Violet is still self-centered. I still can't stand her. The dragons are still good. I honestly think that there's another person writing the dragons. Either another person is writing her dragon scenes, or she needs to just write a book that has nothing but dragons, because that's really the only part of the book that is genuinely enjoyable. That and Riddick. Riddick is hilarious, but the dragons and Riddick are really the saving graces of all of these books. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep harping on that because I haven't even finished the book, but I'm just not. I feel like I need to give myself 2 points just for making it halfway through that book. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm going to show you the books that I didn't read at all, didn't get through this month that were on my TBR. So, just a quick little, I don't know where I was going with that. Skeen Island, Legends and Lattes, Red Queen, Butcher and Blackbird, Assistant to the Villain. I know somebody commented saying that they were hoping that I would read this month because they wanted to like hear my thoughts on it and and see if they wanted to add it to their TBR, or it was already added to their TBR or something. I did not get to this month. I'm sorry, but I will eventually. The Viscount Who Loved Me, and We Hunt the Flame. I don't think I had any Kindle books on my TBR for January because I'm pretty sure I forgot to put my Kindle in the lineup, but I will make sure to do that for February. Actually, maybe I won't, because I really want to focus on my physical books, and I'm already reading Onyx Storm on Kindle. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's all the progress that I made for January. And honestly, like I said, I'm not doing that hand gesture. Honestly, like I said, I only had about a week and a half of actual reading time in January, so I'm not too disappointed in myself. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you took anything away from this, it would be to read a song to Drowned Rivers, because that book was really good. It was really, really good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you've read any of these books that I have read, let me know if you share similar thoughts in the comments down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.